Welcome to the marijuana industry of the 21st century. Since 1996, 21 U.S. states have made the move from black to green. And starting in 2009, a slew of political, media, and legislative developments have brought marijuana out of its countercultural past and into mainstream American consciousness. The expansive growth of marijuana business is evident across this same period. In 2009, the average size of a cannabis cultivation facility was 2,000 square feet. Today's average facility is nearly 5 times this size. Industry jobs and tax revenue generation have also seen exponential increases. Although promising, the short amount of time in which these developments have unfolded has left unique challenges and a massive knowledge gap regarding the efficient cultivation of marijuana. Take tomatoes, for example, which come from a standardized pool of verified plant genetics. They are cultivated with minimal regulatory oversight, most commonly outdoors. Harvesting tomatoes is as simple as pick and package. There is also a formalized education system for tomato farming. Cannabis, on the other hand, lacks genetic standardization. This forces cloning, which results in ongoing degradation. Cannabis cultivation is highly regulated, requiring labor-intensive processing procedures. This delicate plant and its desired properties also make indoor cultivation necessary to satisfy market demand. But up until now, there has been a lack of practical knowledge related to large-scale cannabis cultivation and no formalized education system. So how do we take industrial marijuana cultivation out of the Stone Age and into the future? Simple. We collect and analyze data. Since 2011, our management team has run the nation's largest cannabis commodity exchange service called The List, connecting product buyers and sellers while simultaneously collecting real-time market data. The personal nature of these services put us in hundreds of different cannabis operations, giving us the opportunity to collect massive amounts of visual and verbal information across millions of cultivation square footage. Throughout this process, we concluded that there are infinite methods for growing cannabis. Different operations from one facility to the next made the big picture confusing and oftentimes overwhelming. As we analyzed data across facilities, however, we started seeing trends that were constant across all methods of cultivation. The constants we identified were mapped against the variable data sets. This allowed us to derive unit metrics that could be measured, analyzed, and compared against any cultivation facility. This is the framework which creates efficient processes and cultivation methods related to industrial cannabis and is the basis of the ACS approach to cultivation: Volumetric Analysis and Design, or the VAD system. These VAD system datasets are made up of 3 parts. The first part uses 5 parameters to analyze the planning, building, and operation of a cannabis facility. Site improvements, genetics, electrical and mechanical systems, grow medium and nutrients, and labor segments consider all constants related to producing cannabis on an industrial scale. The second part revolves around timelines and the stages of design, retrofit, certification, and cultivation cycles. The third part relates to the specific stages of compliance, telemetry, and technology involved in running a marijuana business. It entails tracking humans and plants in a physical facility, following both of them through entryways and exits, logging where all plants are at any given time, and dictating who has access to specific parts of the building. This customized VAD system, inclusive of all 3 concepts, can now be modeled, multiplied, and applied to any physical grow space, maximizing operational efficiency while orchestrating timelines with precision. So what are you waiting for? Contact us today to find out how our volumetric analysis and design system is saving our clients millions. Visit our website or say hello at advcannabisconsulting.com. The 5 parameters of the VAD system consider all requirements for industrial cannabis production, including facility build-out, plant genetics, power systems, grow medium and nutrients, and labor. They help analyze the planning, building, and operation of a cannabis facility. Each parameter brings unique considerations to the planning process, and understanding these parameters is a prerequisite to designing an efficient facility. They are the foundation of every grow facility and determine the scope, cost, and timeline of your build-out. Take a small grow space, for example. How many gardeners do we need to manage a hand-watered grow room that uses induction lighting? Or is it more efficient to use a hydroponic system with less employees and LED lighting? What plant genetics will we use, and how much water and nutrient mix will give me the best results? How do I build my facility around these parameters to provide the best source of power, HVAC, and water? The data we've collected from millions of square feet of live cultivation space allow us to map out an infinite number of possibilities, giving us answers to questions that previously lacked any real data to draw accurate conclusions. A simple analogy to this process is the construction of a bridge. All bridge designs share constants such as roads, bolts, and beams. Architects of a new bridge are able to analyze data from thousands of existing bridges to determine the best design approach. Is it over water or land? What kind and how much traffic does it need to handle? Much like this bridge analogy, ACS is able to pull data collected on the 5 parameters of actual cultivation facilities to formulate the most effective solutions related to the scope and cost of your project. Understanding these parameters prior to facility construction allows us to develop a state-of-the-art retrofit done efficiently and correctly the first time. Come learn how the ACS approach to the 5 parameters is saving our clients millions of dollars in build-out and operational costs. To learn more about the 5 parameters in much greater detail, along with live Q&A with experts, be sure to sign up for one of our regularly scheduled webinars. Timelines for operating an industrial cannabis facility are unique in that these operations are 1 part indoor farm, 1 part casino, and 1 part laboratory. Let's look at the farm, where marijuana is grown, packaged, and processed for sale. Unlike other products which are cultivated outside, however, the sensitive nature of cannabis calls for indoor cultivation. Controlling the indoor environment requires advanced mechanical systems that must be planned for, installed, and operated with precision. Then there's the casino. Due to complex regulations, marijuana plants must be tracked and monitored throughout their entire life cycle. After harvest, each plant is dissected, batched, and weighed. All these procedures are monitored with high-tech bioscanning CCTV systems covering every square inch of the building, with close monitoring of all human activity. And finally, there's the lab. Each batch of marijuana must be put through stringent quality control testing. A lack of genetic standardization requires new strains to be tested for cannabinoid content, yield, quality, cycle time, and more, requiring experimentation with each new strain before it can be put into production. So what are the timelines of planning an operation specific to cannabis cultivation? The first is resource management, which gathers and deploys capital while managing contractors. That means building the facility on schedule while maintaining the integrity of the original design. Next comes licensing approvals, which must be coordinated with ongoing construction. This provides all the necessary sign-offs from regulating authorities as the process moves forward. The third timeline is the actual plant life cycle. Clones sprout roots, are transplanted into pots where they grow into full-bodied plants, flower, and then get harvested while rooms are repopulated. An efficient cycle can mean an extra 1.5 annual harvests, while inefficient management can leave your production perpetually behind schedule. These timelines are dependent on one another, opening the door for the next phase of the process. If not properly managed, a 3-month project can turn into a 2-year project. Our VAD system considers all possible timeline variations, giving our clients the ability to see how different scenarios impact their budgets and bottom line. To learn more about timelines in much greater detail, along with live Q&A with experts, be sure to sign up for one of our regularly scheduled webinars. Compliance stages of industrial cannabis refer to the actual building, the personnel who work there, and the monitoring of each individual cannabis plant. In a casino, telemetry systems monitor and track both people and chips as they move across the casino floor. These regulations are mirrored in cannabis cultivation, with mandatory radio frequency ID plant tracking and bioscan telemetry systems designed to follow humans as they flow in, out, and through the facility. Taking shortcuts with these systems is not an option. You can have the best build-out that money can buy, but just one non-compliant activity can shut it all down. Compliance monitoring begins with the facility. CCTV systems are installed to track and record all movements in and out of the building, with remote administrative access. Doors open via facial recognition, and employees are clocked in and out just by walking through the front door. All this data is stored off-site with frame-by-frame review capabilities to make sure no detail is missed. Compliance continues with controlled human activity. Trimmers, contractors, gardeners, and managers are grouped by access permissions based on the work being performed. Bioscan systems protect access based on personnel credentials in line with regulations, while eliminating the possibility of one worker piggybacking off another's credentials. The third stage of compliance tracks each individual plant, which is tagged with RFID sensors to track the plant through its entire life cycle. These RFID systems are the link between facility monitoring, personnel tracking, and plant activity. CCTV systems emit active radio signals that talk to return signals from plants and personnel tags. When a boundary is crossed in the facility, the radio frequency triggers a system of events. A door opens, a camera changes angle, and a recording occurs. This information is then sent and stored off-site. Our VAD system carefully considers the impact of these processes in your facility. To learn more about the stages of compliance in much greater detail, along with live Q&A with experts, be sure to sign up for one of our regularly scheduled webinars.